6 things, because I think in the brochure, then we're not supposed to show y'all 6 steps or something like that. Okay. I was supposed to show y'all 6 steps, so I want to make sure I do that. But the 6 steps, I think it was 6 steps to kind of converting at-risk students or troubled students to influential leaders. My team and I are developing a thing that we call the law of retention. The laws of retention. And they're focused towards minority men, just from what we found, from what I found from growing up, but then what we found from research and our experiences. That there are a couple of core things. There are actually 12 of these, but I just want to share with you 6. And these are kind of educator positions. Kind of bring some scope to this. These are educator positions. These are conditions of heart, positions of understanding that we feel that these are best. From an educator standpoint, number 1 is we want to deal with the condition of the heart. The condition of the student's attitude is a direct reflection of the condition of their heart. If you deal properly with the heart of a student, change is inevitable. We deal properly with the heart of our students. If we take the time to understand that there is a heart condition. One of my favorite books says this: out of the heart flows the issues of life. So we understand that if the heart is healthy, then the person is healthy. Okay? Number 2, understand the power of compassion. The educator must show compassion. Compassion is the greatest seed. A mentoring relationship yields the most favorable returns when compassion rules the relationship. It's just loving, showing interest, showing compassion. We must teach that commitment to or participation in something bigger than ourselves, or we're telling the student bigger than themselves, is the key to true success. Most students feel a sense of isolation. Now this is very interesting to me. I had a conversation with a student the other day. He had failed one of his classes and he was unable to play in the basketball game that Friday. And I asked him, all right, what happened? He said, I failed and I wasn't able to play. I said, well, did you get it together? Yeah, got it together and everything's cool. I'll be playing this weekend. Well, I say, well, did you go to the game Friday night? He's like, no, man, I ain't go. I wasn't playing. I was like, but dude, that's still your team. Just because you're playing, you're not playing. They're like, well, I ain't playing, well, I don't need to come. I'm like, man, it's teamwork. Being a part of something. Totally foreign to him. Totally didn't understand the concept of that being part of a team, making it not about yourself. Now, some of that's justified to some degree, and not all in situations, because sometimes students are put in a situation where they just have to look after themselves. Have you ever talked to a student who, when they get home, nobody's ever there? They call them latchkey kids. They get home, nobody's ever there. The mom's never there. She's out working, maybe 2 or 3 jobs for whatever reason. But they get home, and God forbid, they just have to take care of themselves. They have to learn how to cook at 7 years old, 6 years old. I have a 7-year-old. And the only thing he knows how to cook is eggs and cereal. Because I taught him. But what if you had to learn to do that? You had to learn to do that. So isolation. We have to let them know that being a part of something bigger. That's why I really believe that one of the things that we could do as advocates and mentors is get kids involved in charitable works. Find nonprofits, find things outside of the school. If you had that opportunity on the weekend, get kids involved in that. Especially an at-risk male or high-risk minority male. What we found that if we get them involved in something outside of that, something where they can give back their time, their skill, and their talent, you start seeing a lot of good change, a lot of good long-term change. Revealing a larger world with more inhabitants and challenges works wonders. Works wonders. Encourage possibility thinking, number 4. Whatever you think about the longest becomes the strongest. Possibility thinking is a combination of self-esteem and believing in options. One of the most awesome turnarounds that I could share with you in my mentoring escapades, if you want to say, is we started a class session with a group of guys, 12 guys, half of them Latino, half of them African Americans, and we were talking about options. And the kid told me, he said, I have no options. He said, I have to sell drugs just to eat. He said, there are no options for me. And I listened to him. And I told him, I understand what you're talking about. I will not validate what you're talking about. I will not validate that selling drugs is the way and the only way that you can get money or do what you need to do. But I understand the challenge of being in a situation where you feel like there are no options. We went through some of these steps here in the program, and one of the most amazing things at the end of the day was this kid writing to me saying, Mr. Williams, you've helped me understand that I have more options. That was all worth it. If that caused him to stop selling another sack of weed or another rock of crack or skipping school to do something, just to know that he had an option. See what I'm saying? It didn't save the day, didn't turn around his grades, didn't move from a D student to A honor roll, honor student, valedictorian, but he understood that he had an option. And if you have an option, you have a possibility. You have a possibility, you have a future. That was good right there. That just came for free. That came for free. Y'all just y'all got that one. Yeah, that was from the heart. If you was in church, someone would have said, "Amen." You almost did. Hey, that's all right. You can throw you one up like that. You know, that's cool. All right, y'all. Sacrifice secures your future. The lesson here is that delayed gratification, using time as a tool, is one of the greatest lessons a student can learn. We're living in a media society. Everything is overnight. Everything is microwave. Everything is fast. I want to see results. A lot of times, that's why a lot of kids are discouraged by mentoring relationships and programs like that, because you come in and you don't change automatically. Got to let them know delayed gratification is the way. We got to teach. Their success comes in increments, comes in time measures, right? Now we have to make those successes. What's the word? We should celebrate those. Celebrate those increments. A lot of people want to be overnight successes and one-night wonders, taking a student from the bottom of the barrel to the top of the academic stage. It's not going to happen. And it'll be discouraging to you as a mentor, educator, guidance person, and it's discouraging to the student. I let the students know in those relationships, especially dealing with young men, that I do not have a magic wand. This will not change overnight, but it will change. The hope of change can be a great tool in your belt. If you can effectively communicate the hope of change, it'll work wonders for your relationship with that mentor. And last but not least, we have educator honesty. Being transparent, being touchable, teachable. These are keys. Being open, not spilling your guts and putting yourself out there, what we say to kids, putting yourself out there on blast. Not being like that, but being honest. Truth builds confidence. And if confidence is in a relationship, there's an area of acceptance and maybe a made-up word here, learnability. Is that's good? That's a word? Well, it sounds good. The ability to learn, all right? If those things are there. I told you I'm not a really deep guy. I'm not a real statistic guy. But I can guarantee you today you've gotten my heart. And this is what this program is about. This program is about coming into a situation where we deal with, especially, I love women. I love my wife. I say, ooh, we love women. Yes. But, I really appreciate young men. I really appreciate taking these guys, because the guy in prison started out like this. He looked like that. He had hope. I went to a men's retreat about a month ago, and they took us through this exercise. Totally changed my life. The guy laid us down, or we laid down on the floor, kind of went into this meditative, real, relaxed state. And he started verbally taking us through an exchange of walking through a forest And as we walk through that forest, you come to a clearing in the forest. And when you get to the clearing in the forest, there sitting on a rock in the clearing is you. But it's the 7-year-old you. You greet the 7-year-old you and wonder, what are you doing here in this forest? And the 7-year-old replied back and said, I've been waiting for you. Said, I want to show you something. 7-year-old grabs the adult you by the hand and y'all walk through the forest, and he takes you to a cave. This cave is deep, it's dark, it's wet, and it's cold. And he leads you inside of the cave, and when you get inside of the cave, there are all of these fears and insecurities and dreams shattered and things and hopes vanished. And in this cave, in this place of broken dreams, distorted hope, crushed imaginations, broken life, the 7-year-old looks to the adult you and he asks, what happened? What happened to us? What happened to this bright, vibrant person who knew no limitations, who knew no boundaries, who knew that nothing was impossible? What happened? Those are the kids that we have sitting in our classes every day. Those are the ones. For whatever reason, it could have been through abuse, it could have been through circumstance, it could have been through whatever. Somewhere in there, they've lost that. Their dreams are being stored in a cave. And all they need is one person to show up.